Okay, I'm really glad that I'm filming here because apparently this is what it takes to see that my monstera is dying. Good morning, you guys. I am so happy to be back here. We've just had a crazy couple of weeks of sickness, snow. We had to put our cat down, and yeah, everything sort of collided and made it a little hard for me to make some videos in the past week or so. But yeah, I'm really happy to be here. I'm so thankful. I just really appreciate, since my last video that I posted, I've had over 50 new subscribers, and I just want you guys to know that that makes me so happy and just, I don't know, blesses me so much. I really appreciate that, and I really feel encouraged by just, I don't know, people following me and those numbers. That really means a lot. So today I'm going to share with you the things that I picked out for my kids' Easter baskets. I have a 4-year-old daughter and a 1-year-old son. I also want to give you some resources for Easter, a couple different unit studies, as well as some books that we really like. And I also just have some thoughts about Easter in general, sharing the gospel story with young children, what that can look like, what parts might feel uncomfortable, and just some encouragement for other moms who might be approaching sharing Easter with your kids for the first time. Okay, so what did I put in my kids' Easter baskets, or what am I going to put in my kids' Easter baskets? So for my 4-year-old, I am really excited. I got this little greenhouse, and it comes with this sort of bamboo peg here, so you can make your own little paper pots and then fit them into the greenhouse and start your own plants. So this is super cute. It's by, I think it's Hape, and I'd been eyeing it for quite a while, so I got this for my daughter. I also got a lamb called Lucky from the Jasmine Green series for us to do as a read aloud. I got this Eeboo puzzle. It is a garden themed puzzle. She really loves puzzles right now. It's 64 pieces, and the pieces are rather large, so I think this will be the perfect challenge for her. I recently got this really adorable set from Old Navy. I could not resist it. So it has a little button down with matching shorts, so this is for my daughter as well. And I have this bag of garden tools that I'm gonna give to both of my kids. And I already gave the red shovel that was in here to my son for his birthday, but there's some other tools in here so that they can garden with mommy. All right, and then for my son, I have a hat coming in that isn't here yet, so a little sun hat to protect him when we're gardening outside this spring. I picked up for him these really cute swim trunks from H&M, his first little bathing suit, I guess. Actually, it's not his first bathing suit, but anyway, I just thought these were super cute and funny. And then I also got him this Little Blue Truck springtime book, and I really love the Little Blue Truck book, and then this one is a Lift the Flap. So that's a really cute book for kids, and I like that it's spring themed, obviously. And then he's going to get some of the garden tools as well. I'll probably also put some treats into both baskets. I don't necessarily like putting in a ton of candy, but I'll get like the Annie's rabbit gummies, and then maybe some chocolate, like for my daughter, like one chocolate bunny, and then obviously their grandparents also like to send up a lot of stuff to put in their baskets as well. Sorry if I'm sniffling. I was not immune to my kids' sickness, and it's just not fair that moms get sick too, is it? Anyway, the first unit study that I'm going to share is from Gentle Classical Preschool, and this is actually one of the first unit studies that I ever did with my daughter. She was, gosh, a little over 2.5 at the time. This is a really great unit study if you have never done a unit study before. It has a wonderful scope and sequence. It has a day-by-day guide. It has books and resources. Every day there is either a craft, a nature activity, a way to get involved in your community. It has Bible verses, memorization, poetry. So if you're really interested in sort of a gentle Charlotte Mason approach as well as a classical approach, this is kind of a really fun unit study to dip your feet in and try out something that you think you might want to move forward with your kids. And if you've never done a unit study, even Aaron Cox, the creator of this unit study, would say, don't be overly committed to every single page in a unit study. Just pick and choose what's going to work for you and your family. Decide what you guys are going to be interested in. Another thing that I always change about unit studies and just literature approaches in general, if a book is like, read pages 2 to 4, we are just not a 2-pager family. We like to read the whole book. Another wonderful resource that is free and I highly recommend is from the Peaceful Press, and it is a Passover guide for your family so that you can have your own Seder dinner before Easter, just at Passover. So the guide is called A Peaceful Passover. I will say that this is one of the most wonderful and enjoyable things that we've done around the Easter season. I think that it, at least for me, is so just spiritually rich as far as understanding where Christianity started, as far as needing the covering of the blood of Christ, and then connecting it with Jesus's death on the cross and how his blood was spilt for us. And I just love doing this with my daughter. I haven't done it with my son yet, but I'm just really excited to see those types of connections be made for her over the years, because this is definitely a tradition that I plan on doing every single year. And it can feel like a lot because you're doing a Seder dinner, which you can keep it as simple as you want, and then you're going to do an Easter dinner just a couple days later. But yeah, I would say that it's well worth it. It's just such a rich experience. So the guide from Jennifer, like I said, it's totally free. She gives you a timeline for your preparation for your Seder. She gives you a list of elements that you need and a shopping list, a menu suggesting like roast lamb, roasted potatoes and carrots, a salad. It's a very simple meal. It's just that you want some of the elements there, like the lamb bone, some bitter herbs, salt water, things like that are really symbolic to this festival. And then, like I said, there is a full script for the ceremonial dinner, and we like to have my husband be the leader, and he reads the entire script, and then we just respond. And yeah, like I said, it's incredibly rich and really blesses us. And if you haven't done anything like this before, I would definitely recommend it. One of the first books that I'll share, it's called God Gave Us Easter. It just takes some of the symbols of Easter and just general symbolism like tree roots or a rainbow, eggs, a rabbit, and ties them in with the story of Christ. It's a really sweet book. I wouldn't say that it's like my number one favorite, but I do like that it sort of takes these more abstract thoughts and like ties it in for kids. And I think that it's rich and that you can read it over and over, and as the kids get older, they're going to get more and more out of this little book. I would say that my first choice for the Easter stories would be this really little book, The Very First Easter. It's pulled from the Beginner's Bible, and I don't think you need to buy this little book. I think I'd recommend just getting the Beginner's Bible. I think that it is age appropriate, but also realistic at the same time, and it doesn't really shy away from certain stories, but it does it in a way that is age appropriate. We also love Found, which is by Sally Lloyd Jones. It's Psalm 23. This is just a wonderful, beautiful, rich book about Psalm 23 rewritten for children. It's really wonderful. And then another favorite is The Garden, the Curtain, and the Cross. This is a great book that, again, upon every reading, I think your kids are going to get something different out of it. It's talking about the garden, Adam and Eve being in the garden, how sin ruined our fellowship with the Father, and why God sent his Son so that we could have fellowship with him again. And I think it does a really good job of sort of completing the picture and coming full circle on the story of Jesus, the gospel, the resurrection, and the Easter story. I just want to share a couple thoughts about sharing Easter with your children. I think that when I first started talking about Easter with my daughter, I was actually incredibly uncomfortable, which I thought was really interesting. I didn't want to ruin her rosy worldview, where death was not a thing and where sin didn't exist, things like that. And I felt the need to share the story of Jesus and the story of Easter with her, but I was honestly just kind of afraid of telling her about death, because obviously Easter centers around the death and the resurrection of Jesus. And I really had to just come to terms with trusting that the gospel is meant for everybody, and that I didn't want to shy away from sharing the gospel with my daughter. So it was important to me to share it in a way that was going to be as age appropriate as possible, as approachable as possible, and not super abstract. I would say that all those books that I just shared with you paired together have given her a pretty good picture of the story of Jesus and his death and his resurrection. And I think some things that I observed in starting this process, the first thing was that she was only able to absorb what she was cognitively able to absorb. So I didn't have to necessarily worry that it was all going to come and weigh on her at once. I found that at the age that I introduced it to her, she absorbed a little bit of it. And then in subsequent years, there's been more and more absorption of this story and sort of understanding certain aspects of it and the depth of it. I think that when we read these stories, these books that I shared with you, what's really great is that there's the death of Jesus is just in the middle, essentially. Like, there's always this happy ending that he has risen, he is good, he died for our sins, and that we get to live in eternity with him, right? So I think that also helps just in sharing the story, is that the death isn't the end, and that is why we celebrate Easter, because the death wasn't the end. There was a resurrection. Also, how amazing is it? Easter is in the spring. We just got through winter. Even if you don't garden, you're going to see buds on trees, flowers coming up in people's yards. You can say, oh my gosh, look, life is coming back again, just like Jesus comes back after he dies, right? So anyway, those are just some thoughts that I wanted to share with you guys. I realize that this is such a big topic, and just kind of to me, it felt like a really big responsibility to share this in a beautiful and approachable, straightforward, and exciting way for my daughter. And I am looking forward to sharing this with my son as well. So I hope that you guys have a really blessed and wonderful Easter season. And if you have thoughts about this, maybe you totally disagree with my approach, maybe there's things that you like and things you don't like about it, I would love for you to comment below about just Easter and what you think. So yeah, have a wonderful day, you guys. Talk to you later. Bye.